Are we live? Hey, there we go. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, as soon as I take off my glasses, the stream looks all fuzzy. I don't understand. As soon as I take off my glasses, the stream gets all out of focus. Haha. All right. So, what an interesting turn of events. I knew I'd see you guys later. So, hungry? Yeah, the insiders and scoopers don't know jack. Eklad ended up doing 8 by 6.1. Very team friendly. Ain't that the ain't? And look. Killer, how you doing? Mr. Olympia is selling. Yep. Zito lost game of the year and decided to drop his nuts on the rest of the league with this one. I hear you, Dakota. So here's the thing with the 6.1. If that's what it is, 6.1, you got 14.1 with Bennett's deal. So that, if you give Samoskevich $1.50, that's 15.6. If you can get Marchand under 4, but give him term, if you could pull that off, but by giving him term, you might be able to flesh out the rest of the roster by only having to trade Bolquist instead of Rodriguez. Yeah, well, Samuel's got to take that bridge deal anyway. Florida Hockey Now is reporting 6. I mean, 6. Honestly, the 0.1 could make a difference, Paul. You know what I mean? The 0.1 could actually make a difference because if he takes a little bit less and Samuel gets $1.50 instead of $1.75, if you can get Marchand on term at under 4, you might be able to pull this off without having to trade Rodriguez. You would have to trade. We just need to introduce Ekblad to the wonderful peptides. So Puck Peter would have our cap at 4.9. That's correct. Now, if you traded Bolquist, that gives you 6.4. If you could somehow get, like I said, Marchand underneath 4, that would be 2.4. It'd be 1 point something for Samo. You got to sign Tarasov. And then, because we have our 7 defensemen, so we're done. Paul, yeah, and that's why, Paul, that you're talking about being under the cap. That's why I would like to be able to have both Marchand and Rodriguez, because if Tkachuk is out, you just put Rodriguez in that spot. Dakota said Marchand could sign a 1-year bonus field deal. Anything could happen. Vincent. Yeah, Bex, that's what it looks like. 6.1, 8 years. Yeah. But at 6, that's fine. At 6, that's fine. You could end up with, the last 3 years of that deal being a little bit of an issue, but the cap will be up so much at that point. That's good news. Yeah, exactly, Craig. That's absolutely. Yeah, we don't have to change the glass on this stadium either. No, that's a decent deal. I was hoping for 6 by 6, but if you had to give him the 8, you give him the 8. You know what I mean? He says, I'm happy when things go wrong. We got our fall guy locked. Yeah, exactly. Now, does this mean he'll unblock me now that he got paid? Owls, yeah, no, we don't need Tarasenko, right? Reddit is going full Chernobyl. Yeah, look, if we don't get Marchand, we want Marchand. But if we don't get Marchand, we still have our forward group signed once you get Samoskevich done, The rally cap worked. Yeah, exactly, Colin. Yeah, Eklad blocked me on Twitter twice. He's blocked me on Twitter twice. Yeah, Marshand or Rodriguez. I mean, most likely one of those are not going to be able to. Yeah, if Zito is able to sign Marchand, that should be enough to get Nil his 4th straight GM of the year. Exactly. Well, they were saying earlier that Marchand, that it was looking like a 4-year deal, that he might be able to stay. Colin, you did? Sounds good. Dakota says, crazy all, you cannot get Marchand and trade for another guy at the deadline like Tarasenko. I hate how well positioned you guys are. I get it, man. Gretchen, so if he gets this, he gets to play a full season for a change? Traffic Queens rejoice. If I believe in Sam that much, why not? Why no faith in his ability in the third line? Different kind of player. Different kind of player. I'd prefer him on the second line with Bennett and Tkachuk. His game translates with them much better than Lundell and Luosterainen. Exactly, Guitar Crow. That's the word, Giuseppe. 8 by 6.1. Yeah, Steve Dangle's having a bad day. Yeah. And so that's really the only piece that's left, is figuring out. Obviously, we got to sign Samoskevich, but now all that's left is Marshall. The defense is set. Like, we've got our 6, right? Yeah. We've got our 6. You need a 7th defense. We have 6. Do we have 7? No, because Schmidt is not signed. I mean, you never know if I know Schmidt's probably going to want to get paid, right? Can't really blame him, but I wouldn't mind having him back. But if you could somehow get Marchand under 4, you're going to have to give him terms, though. Have to give him term to get him under 4. Probably not likely. But even if you trade Rodriguez, holy crap. Thank you, Alaton. Thank you, bud. Holy crap. Thank you, my friend. Jeez. Beautiful, beautiful. Love you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, Marshy will take a haircut, right? Colin said, you also find this out. Benning can't be offer sheeted, same as Samo. Yeah. Thank you, bud. Jeff, does Schmidt stay? If he wants to stay for $1 million, that's all we have the money for, right? That's all we have the money for. So, capitalism, watch from the beginning. Yeah. So here's the thing with the Ekblad 6.1. To me, that says Marchand is staying, because if you're not trying to pay Marchand, there's no reason for Ekblad to take anything under like 7.5. To me, that 6.1 says Marchand is staying. I could be wrong, but if you're not trying to fit Marchand in, you're probably going to be giving Ekblad 7. You know what I mean? So it might have been 7 by 7 or something like that. So, and they had actually said earlier this morning that they were hearing that Marchand was closing in on a 4-year deal. Craig says Marchand 2 by 8. I'm in. Sure. Why not? He's got 3 good years left in him. So you eat the 4th year and then you buy him out, you know? Yeah, right now we have 4.9. Well, let's put it this way. It's a guarantee that one of Marchand, Bilquist, and Rodriguez are going. One of those guys is going. The question is going to be is if you sign Marchand, do you have to move Erod, or can you move Bilquist out of the way? if Marchand gets a 4x4, I think you probably at that point have to move Rodriguez because we've got 0.9 left. And if you give 4 of that to Marchand, all that's going to leave us room for is nobody, because you got to have $1 million for Tarasov, 1 point, at least 1.25 for Samoskevich. That's 2.25. You need $3 million for Samoskevich. No, that's 4. 1, 2. No, you need a little bit over $3 million for Tarasov, Samoskevich, and 7D. You need a little bit over $3 million, like maybe 3.25. So you either got to move Rodriguez or Boquist to make it happen. If you give Marchand money, can we still trade for Owen Tippett? Raj, I would love to keep Schmidt, but he's a guy that might, you see others saying 3.5 for Samoskevich. No, that's absurd. Lundell didn't even get that in his second deal. That's more than Luosterainen makes now. No, he's an RFA. He's not offer sheet eligible. And Samoschevich's agent is going to, no matter what, tell him, look, take a 2-year deal because you're either going to be playing with Lundell, Bennett, or Barkov. And so Samoskevich, 2 years playing under those circumstances is going to be, that's where he's going to make his money on that next contract. So I don't suppose that Samoskevich is going anywhere. Dakota, yeah, this is the last offseason to offer the 8-year deals, crazy bonus deals, and LTIR stuff for the playoffs, right? So this adds the possible contracts and trades coming up for the entire NHL, right, because of the new CBA. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's so much you can't do now. Well, this is the last year you can do a lot of it. Monkey says, I think if we keep Samoskevich, we get Rodriguez because they play similar roles. That is the most likely scenario, but I'd love to keep Rodriguez. Remember, we need a 4C as well. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that I got to throw into the fire there in terms of the money. It's complicated. Yeah, the more you think about it, it's like the harder it is to think that you can keep Rodriguez. You have to keep one of Rodriguez or Boquist because Tkachuk likely going to need surgery and start the season on LTIR. So that's why you'd love to have Rodriguez there. But if you have to put Boquist there, it's not gonna kill you. Monkey, well, we already have Balinskis signed for next year. So unless we need a 7th defenseman. But I don't think Magna has a contract either. I'd be fine bringing him back, though. Absolute says, Nosek, Marshand, Schmidt probably gone. Next steps, find a 4th-line center, a 3rd pair D-man, sign backup goalie, sign Mackey, use Olympics to convince a vet to come over at the deadline, win 3rd cup. I don't know. I wouldn't guarantee about Marchand. I wouldn't throw that. I just don't think Ekblad takes 6.1 if Marchand's going. Because if you don't do Marchand, we have basically $5 million left. Even if you get Tarasov $1 million, Samoskevich $1.50, like that would give you money left over. It's hard to figure out. There's so many things to look at. Eyes, yeah, we were talking about Lorentz. Yeah. The thing about Boquist is that he can play center, but his career face-off percentage is 37%. So that I don't know how you really work with that at 4C. 37% is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Dakota. No doubt, man. Guitarco, I don't know about when Kachuk said he had a couple of weeks to figure things out right after we won the cup. I would assume that the Panthers would have wanted to know before they make any moves, right? So the Panthers probably know that he's most likely going to need surgery. I would make that my best guess. Yeah, Boquist. I mean, he can play, but at 4C, I just don't see that that's for a game or two, right? For a game or two, but Paragon, does the bug count against your cap though? But we wouldn't have that till next year anyway. The mandatory e-bug isn't until next year. I know. Chucky LTIR for the season and everybody stays. Yeah, exactly. We could do that too. So Kazuma says, who is more important, Erod or Marchand? Boy, that's tough. That's tough, man. That's a tough question. I mean, my heart says Erod, but, Erod's not going to pull off what Marchand did either during these playoffs, Hey, big dog. James says Marchand will be 3 years, 12 million. Don't you mean 3 million, 12 years? Yeah, exactly. Like the trade for the 4C, right. Oh, yeah, Tarasov will probably get $1 million though, right? Yeah, it's a tough decision there. Yeah, Tarasov will take $1 million. Sam Miskevich is at least going to get $1.25. Probably should get $1.50. Meadow says Marchand for the playoffs. Erod is a Swiss Army knife, though. Marchand kills penalty. That's true. Yeah, exactly, SoFlo. Just give me last year's Ekblad, and it'll be a great deal. I agree. David says Erod was key in the first 2 runs and plays amazing in the postseason. No disagreement. I would prefer to give Marchand enough term to keep both. But that's just me. You know what I mean? See, here's what we do. So we give Marchand the extra term to afford to keep Rodriguez when we sign Marchand, and then those extra couple of years we just make up for it because Bob takes a team-friendly deal at $6 million. I'm just making stuff up now. Paragon says it's okay, let Brad go and get paid. We'll probably pick up Kane at him before next year's playoffs. Why does everybody keep? I mean, Kane is brought up every year. Nah. Paragon, you think 99.9% guarantee Marchand is gone? That means he'll be signed by the end of the day. Hey, Heather, from a logical perspective, this is the correct decision considering the rarity of right Ds, the consistently shut down play of Eklad forcing pairing, and the importance of Eki to Cat's history. I agree. To get him for 6, I mean, my opinion was if you can get him for 6x6, it's a dream. So 8x6.1, whatever. I mean, that's as close. That's as close as you can imagine to get. Yeah, I can't wait to see people complain about the state taxes. Dakota says, offer Marcy 3 years times whatever, right? And include a blizzard clause. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, Thomas. We were giving Ekblad enough grief this morning, so we'll give him his due today. Exactly. We can afford to pay X 6.1 because Forsey is on such a great deal. Yeah, let's look at it that way. If we would have given Forsling 9, nobody would have complained, right? If we would have had to give Forsling 9, people would have said, yeah, but he's worth it. So I like SoFlo's point there. Paying 12 for those guys as a pair, when you think about Cale Makar probably going to get 11 or 12 on his own. Kazuma says, I wish hockey was like soccer where you can just buy out a player if they have a release clause. Yeah, well, they're changing that too, I think. James said, Marchand staying for $4 million a year, someone getting traded. Yeah, but it might only have to be Boquist if he gets 4. The math is tight. The math is really tight. See, Rodriguez, well, we'll have to see how it goes. I should make some eggplant parm. Exactly, Craig. Plus, Ekblad keeps Mikula Jones as the second pair. That's the same reason why you pay Sam Bennett to keep Lundell at 3C. Offer Marchand $1 million, 3 DQ franchises, and 75% of Ekblad in Schmidt's stash. Hey, Heather. Hey. GE says, I see a lot of others saying how we should be screaming of Joy Ekblad taking a huge pay cut. He says, no, this is just the right deal. Other teams would have just overpaid him out of desperation. Thank you, Raj. That's what I figured. The E-bug does not affect the cap. Yeah. How about those Marlins, David? Yeah, if Marshy leaves, we'll just sit at the trade deadline, right? Hey, Puck Rock. Now, just give me my Sam Miskevich extension, guys. Come on. Come on, Bill. Yeah, fans outside of Florida think this is a steal and cheating. I mean, it's not like Ekblad didn't just come off a 7.5, right? It's not like that was his only contract. He's made a lot of money playing hockey. Exactly. Yeah, X48 Ekblad deal clearly considered how much it would cost to change the arena windows. So if it's just hopefully Tarasov isn't a guaranteed L when he's in goal this year. Bob needs the rest of the season. Can't run him into the ground before the playoffs. I would assume we're still going to need one more backup, to be at the AHL level. I'm still banging the table for Alex Lyon to be that guy just for the good juju. I mean, from what I was told by the analytics people is that Tarasov's numbers, that his play was better than his numbers because of the structure of the defense that Columbus had. So, for whatever that's worth. Kazuma, no, I haven't checked that out. Utah's going to offer Marchand 4x10. I mean, geez. Could Theater? Yeah, you could offer Marchand deferred salary. Yes. It's definitely possible. I mean, when Zito said he had a plan, it sounds like so far the plan is still in place. Yeah, the Marlins have been good until they start selling players again. Andrew, yeah, it's like 4.9, but we'll have to see. If to sign Marshand, one of Rodriguez or Boquist has to go. I don't know if you could do without both. I think what you need to do is get Samoskevich done, get Tarasov done, and then see what's left and make the decision. And, Marchand, you don't know. Marchand might be like, I don't want to be the reason why Rodriguez gets traded. Like Marchand might be like, I don't want to be the guy that comes in and gets Rodriguez traded off the team. Just give him $2 million times 8 years. And, he gets 3 or 4 years where he's still good. And then you buy him out and you got, $1.50 on the cap for 4 years. Exactly, Trey. Yeah, I know a lot of people thought Eklad was closer to 7.5. Yes, so there's 4.9 left. Leafs take Erod and open the space for us to re-sign Marshy and Samo. Yeah. Well, Rodriguez, we'll see. Hate to see him go. Andrew says, do we need more than just Marchand at this point? Rodriguez is a hard player at will. With Ekblad signed, if you're talking about what we would have to do, all we really need to do is sign Samoskevich, the backup goal, Tarasov, and the 7th defenseman. If we, and a 4C, if we don't keep Marchand. I know some people are thinking Boquist can be at 4C, but I don't know. He'd really have to work on his faceoffs. His faceoff percentage career-wise is 37%. I mean, he's not a playoff 4C. Sovla says, would I rather have Marcy or Erod at this point? You're on the Erod train if I had to choose. Then if we need to pick up a vet at the deadline. It's a tough call. It really is a tough call. Both. Hey, JC. Zito does it again. Kazuma says, will Samo be willing to take $1 million or would he want more? Well, he's an RFA and he's not offer sheet eligible. So it's just going to depend on, if he just wants two years. Got to sign Tarasov. I mean, the only thing is if you move Boquist, what's Rodriguez? I mean, Rodriguez does take face-offs, right? So what's his face-off percentage? Because, I mean, his face-off percentage is 45.6. That's workable. You could always, if you wanted to, just put Rodriguez at 4C instead of having to go find more guys. Anthony, the thing with he's asking about if we put Chuck on LTR. Technically, we would have the money, but I think that if we thought that was going to be something, I think if they felt Tkachuk was going to be on LTIR for the full offseason, these contracts already would have been done because we would have had more wiggle room. So I don't think that's likely to happen. G says, I just don't like our offense without Marchand. It's much weaker with Rodriguez. Boquist doesn't score enough either. Now it's all the pressures on Samoskevich. Having Rodriguez definitely does even things out a little bit. So it's 4.9. If you trade Boquist, you have 6.4. Let's say you gave Samoskevich the 1.4. That leaves you 5. The 7th defenseman leaves you 4. Tarasov leaves you 3. If you don't trade Rodriguez, if you can get Marchand 8x3, 7x3, give him term at $3 million. That's the only way you can do it without trading Rodriguez. But then you wouldn't need 4C because you could plug Rodriguez in at 4C. When Tkachuk is out, you can bring up somebody to fill up that LTIR space, but it wouldn't be for the full season. That's the only way the math works to keep Rodriguez, is if you gave Marchand $3 million and you just made it up with term. Soflo says the Marchand third line was impeccable, though. If we trade Erod, we're counting on Samoskevich to step up to the second line and produce. No more developing. He needs to be ready. Does Zito believe in him? Does Maurice? That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Paragon, don't forget that the guys are the same insiders earlier in the day were saying they were hearing that it's close on Marchand or a 4-year deal. I would not guarantee that it's over yet. Cody says, is it possible to structure the contracts to where next year they pay Marchand and the following years his pay goes up so we don't take the big hit? I don't know how much they can do with bonuses that way. Generally speaking, it's the average. It's the average. I'm not sure about performance bonuses, how that will work out. All I know is Zito says he has a plan. And I don't think that Ekblad takes 6.1 unless we're keeping Marchand. This is bonuses work with 1-year deals. Gotcha. And with so much changing next year, it's gonna be crazy. Kazuma says, I've never been so conflicted. Losing Marchand or Erod will hurt more than losing your ex. It's doable. It's doable. It's really close to doable. It's doable. Just depends on what Marchand wants to take. If he's talking about wanting $6 million for 3 years, just give him 6 years of $3 million. Anthony says, I'm thinking if we lose Brad, a good veteran replacement for him would be no more Patrick Kane. We don't need. If we lose Marchand, it's because we're keeping Rodriguez. That's what people need to realize. If we lose Marchand, it just means we keep Rodriguez, and the forward group is done. There's Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luostarinen, Rodriguez, and you've got Greer with Gadjevich, and for all we know, they might start the season with Boquist at 4C. It's possible. But then again, there's the whole Tkachuk thing. And there's just so much that we don't know on this side. Remember did anybody see the interview with Maurice where he told Gadjevich, if you need to find a half a step? Maybe they told Boquist, you need to get 10 percentage points better on those faceoffs. Maybe they do think he's the 4C. Don't know. Risky says, is there any promising players in the Panthers affiliate AHL team? Yeah, there's a few. There's a few. Don't know how much space. Sordiff was the guy that was the most ready, in my opinion, when they traded him. So I don't know how much space that we're going to be making for any of these young guys this year. Sawshin might get close to ready. Devine, St. Martin. I'd love to see the defenseman Horvolka, but those guys are a couple years away, I believe. Certainly Horvolka is. And he says, but you're saying Evan is going to be the fourth line center. Who's going to be the third right line winger on the other side of Anton? You would have Marchand. That's what I'm saying. If you sign Marchand and find a way to keep Rodriguez, he's at 4C. It's still kind of doable. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Andrew. He says they're going to trade Erod, telling you Brad 4x5 leaves 2.9 out, 2.9 to round out the roster. I don't know that that's enough. 2.9 because you got to give Tarasov $1 million, the other guy $1 million. I don't think. You'd have to have a minimum wage guy at 7D at that point. I mean, look, it's still very likely that they trade Erod. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that if they wanted to not trade Rodriguez, Marchand would have to take $3 million and make it up in term. If he did that, there's just pennies enough to flesh out the roster the rest of the way. Yeah, Kazuma, yeah. Nashville's clearly winning because of the no state tax in Tennessee. He says 1.75 Mackey, 1 million Tarasov, 5 million Marchand, and trading both Rodriguez and Boquist will leave us at 1.65. Now just signed 2 league minimums, 1 4C. You wouldn't have enough. You wouldn't have enough forwards. You got to have a backup. I mean, we may end up in a situation like we were a couple years ago, where if we're short of forward because somebody's injured, you have to go 11-7. No, if we lose Brad, then who would be the third? No. If Marchand leaves, Rodriguez is on the third line, and then you're either going to have Boquist at 4C or some other minimum wage guy, $900,000 guy at 4C. What I'm saying is if you sign Marchand and find a way to keep Rodriguez at the same time, the forward group is done. That's all. Right. Erod's only 4C if we keep Marchand. Exactly. Freeman says he still expects Marner to Vegas to happen today. Yeah, I don't think 5 is in the budget. All right, Andrew. Appreciate it, bud. Zuma says people are losing their mind on Eklad staying, blaming the tax team. If Marchand stays, they're going to have a meltdown, right? Yeah, good thing we're not general managers, right, Dylan? Well, especially we don't, we're just fans. We don't know all the intricacies, right? We don't know all the intricate details. Hungry says, loves the shit posting. The NHL needs to do something about the unfair competitive advantages that teams like the Panthers and Golden Knights have, being well-run teams that players want to play for. G says, just bring up AHL guys if they get injured. I don't care. Marchand stays and Erod Boquist can go. No hard feelings. Yeah, the tax thing is exactly cope. Yeah, I mean, it could get funky. Remember a couple of years ago, I guess it was the first Maurice year. we had to play. We played a game or two where we were short because we just didn't have any cap space to have anybody else. But you just put Balinskis at forward, right? You either need a defenseman that can play forward or forward that can play defense. Kazuma, yeah, if Erod goes, don't send him to a playoff rival. No, for sure. Yeah, send him to the Western Conference. I'd hate to see him go. So Corey Perry doesn't look like he's going to be able to sign. Yeah. Oilers finalizing Bouchard 4 years at 10.5 per. Holy crap. Gee, you're talking about Mark Pesic. Mark Pesic. Is Bill Zito the sniggle boss after the Ekblad deal? He's the sniggle boss if he can get Marchand to sign for $3 million so that we don't have to move Rodriguez. Yeah, Balinskis on the fourth line in emergency situations. That's it. We could end up in that kind of a situation. We really could end up that way. We still need one more defenseman, though. Hungry says you don't get discounts when you lose in the finals twice in a row. Yeah. Is the Russian defenseman we have playing the NCAA ready yet? I do not know. I do not know about that, Anthony. Dang. 10.5 for Bouchard. Signed Mark Pesic and Jason Demers, right? Dang, man. 10.5 for Bouchard. We just got Eklad for 6. Trevor, there's enough to keep Marshand depending on what we do, depending on Rodriguez. Yeah, we're not playing a single player as much as Bouchard is making. Yeah. Lauren, do I think Lundell has the potential to become the next Barkov eventually? Not quite. Not quite. Well, Lundell doesn't quite have his size and strength, but still being 85 to 90% as good as Barkov is still pretty damn good. That's what somebody up above said, 10.5. After what Marshall did to him, 10.5 is crazy, right? Yeah, Twitter's getting crazy. They were accusing Chucky of tampering with Connor when he said you should come down to Florida and play with us. That's hysterical. We got Lundell at 12 too, Dakota. Lundell, Zito, that was Zito's first pick. Was Zito's very first pick with us, was taking Lundell at 12. Jimmy says, Marshy, 1 year, $4 million. No, he's going to want term. You're going to have to pay him. I would suspect that he's probably looking for a deal, at least that's going to net him $15 to $20 million. Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly, Adonis. Eklad, that's a team-friendly deal, no doubt. We don't have a first-round pick to the 28 draft. Can't believe they paid 10.5 for Bouchard. Was Patrick Hornquist on the ice after last year's win? It's a good question. I haven't seen that. That's a good question, Parag, and I don't know the answer to that. Bouchard was dang, man. Yeah, I mean, we're a ways off from that, Anthony. I get what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying, but I trust what Zito's got working. You know, is that the first pick of the 28 draft we gave to Boston, or was that 27? Where'd the 27 one go? I looked the other day. Let's see. I looked the other day and let's see what we got. 27. No, it was a 27 or a 28 pick. So it's one of the two. Okay, so it says the trade for Brad Marshall was a conditional draft pick, 27 or 28 first round pick if the Panthers advanced to the third round and Marchand appears in right. So I don't know who has the choice, but either us or Boston has the choice of that being it's either the 27 or 28 pick. I don't know who gets to make that choice. Matthew's not happy. Yeah, Marchand would be icing on the cake. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Anthony. We've got basically we could have 9 guys locked up pretty long term here, more than that actually. Rodriguez to Vegas. I'd be more worried about Rodriguez to Colorado. Yeah, Edmonton will have 3 guys with contracts over $10 million. Florida has no one above $10 million, right? Ottawa has no one over 8.5. Yeah. Now you guys are building slowly. Gotcha, Anthony. Boston will get the 27th first round. If it's 11th or higher, it's top 10 protected. If not, it goes to the 28th. Okay, thanks, Mike. Yeah, rumor is Marchand's holding out for a Dairy Queen. Give him 2. Give him 2. Nah, Matthew, we'll have to disagree there, brother. We'll have to disagree, man. Eklad is not somebody you would take again with the first pick in the draft, but the way this Panthers team is set up, I got no problem with that contract. That keeps our cup window open for the next few years, which is all you're trying to do at this point. You can't be in the middle of trying to win a 3rd cup, maybe win a 4th, and be worrying about where you're going to be in 5, 6, 8 years. You take care of now. You go for the winning now. Colin says, I think it's best to fill out the rest of the roster now instead of paying Marchand. I agree with you in the sense that I would be okay if you lost Marchand because you're keeping Rodriguez. I remain hopeful that you can give Marchand 3 years or $3 million and give him however many years and keep Rodriguez. It's doable. Trade Boquist. But it's doable. Don says, I thought Edmonton's window was the last 2 finals because now they have to pay their main guns big bucks. Can't believe Bouchard. God. And they need a goalie. Aaron Ekblad's first National League goal was set up by Scotty Upshall and Jimmy Hayes. Jeez. Yeah. Well, I'm happy with it. Now just announced the Marchand deal. I'm trying to think if you could somehow trade Boquist for the 7th defenseman, cut that salary in half. We'll have to see. Christopher, so it looks like Ekblad is signing 8 years at $6.1 million. Hungry, did Bowman come out and say they're sticking with Skinner and Picard yesterday? Really? I didn't see that, but if that's the case, don't expect McDavid to stay. yeah, exactly, Nano. If we sign Marchand, all I want to say is congrats to Jim Nill and the 4-Pete. Yeah. Oh, man, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the damn truth? No, Anthony. Sam Miskevich will be on the second line with Bennett and Tkachuk. He'll be on the second line with Bennett and Tkachuk. Where's my damn Sam Miskevich? Where's my Sam Miskevich contract? That's what I want. Where's my Sam Miskevich extension? Come on, Bill. One contract a day? I'm looking. Oh my gosh. Okay, don't go to Twitter, man. Just don't do it. Let's see. Oh, come on. Let's just go to Elliott. There's only like a few guys here that you really trust. So that's it. So that's the last tweet Friedman put out. Was 8 by 6.1 ish. Now, who was it that said earlier about Marshand? Oh, in fact, Lucas sent me that. Hold on a second. Okay, so Pierre says Ekblad's agreed to an 8-year 6.1. Yeah, so that's official. Now it was it Lucas that sent me that about Marchand? No, it was somebody else that sent it to me. I'm looking at that. So because that's really obviously, if we could keep all three, the internet is just going to absolutely. Empty Netter says signing Marchand 1x5 would be such a flex and also an FU to everyone else in the NHL. Yeah, we just need that. We just need that tweet, Elliot. We just need that. That's all we need, buddy. Huh. Yeah, exactly. Chris Greer. How do we get to trading Brady again? Darren Drieger. Okay. Was Mammoth on Marchand? I see. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. You guys watch that stuff. I don't want to watch it. You're right. I am going to get Kyle to run in here for a few minutes so I can have my dinner. Don says, I just think the Oilers sticking with their goalies are the whole thing they can do. There's no great replacements in free agency or trade market. Yeah. I mean, they did get the 2 straight finals, but they need to work on those guys, man. Anthony, what position declines a lot faster in hockey? It just depends on the guy's health. There are more 40-year-old forwards than usually defensemen, you know. Which just look at Corey Perry at 40 years old. There's no reason why that can't be Marchand. You know what I mean? There's no reason why not. It's not going to be Ekblad. That's a different story. Yeah, state taxes strike again, right? Well, yeah. I mean, Edmonton, I just don't see. They just gave Bouchard. They just gave Bouchard 10. So what's their cap now? Hi, babe. Are you home or are you just leaving work? You home or you just leaving work? Oh, you're heading home. Okay, that's good. There we go. It's thundering. Yeah, I was gonna go swimming. Let me get Kyle for you guys in a second. Hold on. Pink Eklad Club now. I'll be right back. Let me get Kyle for you. All right, he's coming. All right, he's coming. Chris Johnson just confirmed what? Oh, about the Bouchard 10.5. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, if you're the Oilers, it's bad enough you got beat twice. But on the same day we get Ekblad to take 6.1, they got to get Bouchard 10.5. What the hell is Cale Makar going to get? If Bouchard gets 10.5, what the hell is Cale Makar going to get? Babe, we can only sign Marshand if he takes a really cheap deal without moving Rodriguez. We might have to trade Erod to do it if we're going to still try to keep him. Yeah, exactly, Axel. I love that we can keep the Forsing, Ekblad, Mikla Jones pairs. No disagreement there. Yeah, 10.5. Oh, Kyle. Open up the door. Yeah, actually, I think it's 4 by 10.5. Or was it 6? Yeah, we would need to trade Rodriguez and or Boquist to get Marchand, right? Mythical, no question. Yeah, Makar's going to get the bank, right? The Oilers gave Bouchard 10.5. Seriously. Yep. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. I gotta eat some food. Okay. All right, kiddo. There you go. All right. I'll be back in a little bit. I gotta eat. I wasn't, Okay. Maybe we won't be on too much longer.
Let's see. Rasmus Anderson, as of now, is only getting paid $500,000. Bouchard got 4 years because apparently the price was too high at a longer term. Hello, Icy. Hello. Hello. So yeah, Ekblad got signed to what is reported to be a 8 years, $6.1 million contract. Coot says reports are saying that Erod and Boquist are being shopped around in order to keep Marchand. Interesting. Pro Wagon says Oilers will have to do something as their roster still has a spot open and they don't have league minimum in cap. Out of 147 goalies who play over 10 games in a postseason, Skinner in 2023 ranks 146. Skinner in 2024 ranks 129th. Skinner in 2025 ranks 142nd. And Pickard in 2025 ranks 145th. Goodness. Yeah, Tarasenko, the Red Wings said, "Hey, Wild, you want Tarasenko? Take him. Just take him." Marner supposedly will be traded to Vegas today. At $10.5 million a year, Bouchard better start making glove saves too. If the Oilers are giving everyone big money, how will they afford a top goalie? So it seems that Ekblad potentially left millions of dollars on the table just to stay with the Florida Panthers. So Bouchard got 4 years and $10.5 million AV. I just want you to take a moment to realize Aaron Ekblad just won his second Stanley Cup and is being paid just over $6 million a year. And Bouchard is now going to make $10.5 million per year for the next 4 years. Would you trade Erod and Jesper Boquist for picks in order to keep Marchand? Real Cinema says Jaws is going to be pissed if we keep Nosek, Marchand, and Erod, but Mackey is the odd man out. I doubt Mackey is the odd man out because we need to develop some prospects. Eisenite says the Panthers are close in talks with Brad Marchand and Tomas Nosek per source, even after the reported agreement with Ekblad. Hello, David. Reportedly, Ekblad could have gone upwards of $9 million in the open market. 3 big hometown discounts signed in a short span with Ekblad. Long-term discount. Tavares 4 years discount and Giroux's 1 year. JN says, put Samoskevich in Rodriguez's spot next season. That might be what happened. So someone on X actually did the math. The Bob Father on Twitter. Here is the math he did for cap space. He says, quote, we currently have 4.9 million. Moving Erods gives us 7.9 million. Moving Boquist would give us 8.9 million. I assume this is total and not cumulative. Like, in other words, we have 8.9 million to play with should we move on from Erod and Boquist. So the proposed contract, Marchand 4.5 million times 4, Mackey 2x2, Tarasov and Nosek, and a third pair defenseman all getting league minimum 775K. I don't know if we could get Tarasov, Nosek, and a third pairing defenseman to all each agree to league minimum. That's the only flaw there. Yeah, per Dakota Perrin says the Panthers are close in talks with Brad Marchand and Nosek per source, even after the reported agreement with Ekblad per Tim Reynolds. Yeah, how much can we give to Marchand? Strafossi says, I would trade Samo too. That would probably be a mistake. Yeah, we've got 4.9 million left. If we moved both Rodriguez and Boquist, that goes up to 8.9 million, which would give us absolutely a chance to pay Marshand, Mackey, Tarasov, Nosek, and a third pairing defenseman. The Bob Father did the math. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, apparently, Samoskevich, here's an important fact about Samoskevich. Samoskevich is an RFA, but he is not eligible to be offer sheeted as he's a 10.2.c player who, there's a rule, he has not accrued 3 professional seasons. And the same goes for defenseman Mike Benning. Mr. Krabs says, goodbye, Evan Rodriguez, if we want to keep Marchand. Dakota Perrin says, Tarasov 1-year league minimum could be a possibility, but the rest, yeah, no. Forsling and Ekblad combined cost like half of what Nurse and Bouchard do. Bill Zito, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. from Adam on Twitter. The Florida Panthers have top 6 forwards signed until 2030. Top 3 defensemen signed until 2030. 11 forwards, 6 defensemen under contract for next year. Sergei Bobrovsky, $10 million coming off the books after this year. $4.9 million in cap space. $34 million in cap space next year. So yeah, Tim Reynolds on Twitter. The Panthers are close in talks with Marshand and Nosek per source. Races Fan Rock asks thoughts on the new CBA that is coming. Well, a couple more games sounds fun. I am highly curious what exactly the plan for, quote, closing the LTIR loophole is for the playoffs. What exactly does the NHL have in mind for the new playoff salary cap rules? That's the most important change, along with now there is a permanent e-bug, which means unfortunately we will not. It's very much less likely that we will see Toronto lose to a 42-year-old Zamboni driver again. Pro Wagon says the Panthers made their pitch to Marchand this past week. Impressive presentation and all. The ball remained in Marchand's court on Monday. McGobbin says, I've heard to close the loophole, they're making it so the roster you ice in the playoffs has to be cap compliant. So, after signing Ekblad, we have $4.9 million in projected cap space with 18 active players. Samoskevich and Tarasov are the RFAs. Marchand, Nosek, Sturm, Schmidt, Magna, and Vanecek are the UFAs. Vanecek is probably gone because Tarasov is now in the picture. So it remains to be seen how the Dolphins, apparently Marchand and Nosek are next. The Marchand and Nosek are the ones that are being talked to right now. It was a 42-year-old Zamboni driver who works for the team, their minor league affiliate. What do I think is going to happen in the NHL for free agency? Well, apparently everyone is saying that Marner's about to go to Vegas, and not just for a holiday. The Oilers have 550K cap space left. Ooh. So the new core four for the Oilers. Here it is, the core four. The core four for the Oilers at this moment: Draisaitl, 14 million; McDavid, 12.5 million; Bouchard, 10.5 million; Nurse, 9.25 million, for a total of 46.25 million. By comparison, the Leafs core four was 46.65 million. Congratulations, Oilers. You managed to cut 400K off of the price tag the Leafs had for their core four. JN says, I don't understand why Vegas is trading for Marner instead of paying him in free agency. Why would they give up their assets? Michael Mandeloff says, yeah, letting go of Erod and Boquist makes sense. Real Cinema says, Toronto is blackmailing them. Yeah, inform me on this situation. I'm hearing that the league is looking to hammer someone for tampering. What exactly is going on? Are we getting some juicy drama between Toronto and Vegas? Mm-hmm. So what we're probably looking at is Marchand getting signed, perhaps Nosek as well. Samo might get a bridge deal. Erod and Boquist might be gone. And then we just have to get a third pairing defenseman. The Sens have agreed to a 1-year contract for Levi Merilainen, a 1.05 million AAV. But the Flyers did not qualify Jakob Pelletier. So I'll just keep my eyes on Elliot Friedman. Mr. Krabs says, people keep saying we brought in Seth Jones to replace Ekblad. No, we brought him to replace Brandon Montour. Dakota says, Finnish firewall. Big reason the Sens made the playoffs. Guy was a beast in like 12 games. You're referring to the player that the Sens just gave the 1-year deal. True says, I thought you were saying Ekblad was stayed. I almost dropped my guitar. According to Elliot Friedman, the Panthers just gave Ekblad 8 years and $6.1 million AAV. Is Ek good now? Now that Ekblad took less money, his cameo price will go up. So Ekblad got the contract, and Marshand and Nosek are currently in close talks. Oh, here we are. Elliot Friedman just said Mitch Marner has been traded to Vegas. I repeat, Marner has been traded to Vegas. Holy shit. Darren Drager, Dakota says, Darren Drager confirmed Marner traded 8-year deal. Holy shit. So, okay, why did Vegas trade for Marner? Okay, let me go to Mitch Marner. So Mitch Marner has been traded. Mitch Marner has been traded to the Golden Knights. So the Core 4 era has officially come to an end in Toronto. He has signed an 8-year deal, according to at least a couple of reports. Real Cinema says, Vegas, you don't have to take that shit. You're cup winners. The Leafs haven't won anything since the 60s. Pro Wagon says, signed 8 years first with Leafs and traded to Vegas. I wonder what does Vegas get in return? That's the question. So Dakota says $12 million for Marner. So yeah, now so the Leafs have traded Mitch Marner, who had signed an 8-year extension. So now that's the thing everyone will be. Okay, here we go. Officially confirmed. Yeah, it's 8x12. So that's the contract. That's 8x12. 8x12 for Marner. So 8 years, $12 million. 305. Well, the space we have left right now, $4.9 million. We have $4.9 million. If we were to get rid of Erod and Boquist, we could bump that up to $8.9 million. No, there's no word on what went the other way yet. Dakota says, I was planning to nap before my night shift, but F that. Vegas gets Marner and not being investigated for tampering. They were not supposed to start negotiating him for tomorrow, but did. 305 says, yes, that is correct, David. Ekblad signed an 8-year deal. Ekblad signed an 8-year deal for $6.1 million per. How much is Boquist making? I think it's only $1 million. 305 says, Marshy, please stay. All right. I better go drag Jaws in here because Marner going to Vegas is pretty significant news. I feel like he should be here to talk about it. But I'll give him a few more minutes. We'll find out I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon what the return was. So we are awaiting the trades call and complete details of the return. Toronto. Trades not done to Vegas. So Marner signs the deal with the Leafs first and then got traded. Oh yeah, the Bouchard news. Yeah, the Oilers are throwing $10.5 million per year for 4 years to Bouchard. So yeah, Marner just got paid like Mikko Rantanen. Henderson says, man, I wanted him to sign in Carolina for nothing after killing the Rantanen trade. Would have seen the Toronto salt pile from space. Yeah. Dakota says, Jaws needs this. He got the Bush news and you got the Marner news. Yokiharu re-signs in Boston, according to Rosado. Thanks, Rosado. So, the Capitals did not make Alexiev a qualifying offer, which was expected, so he becomes a UFA. They did send a qualifying offer to forward Hendrix Lapierre. All right, so I should go get Jaws, right? All in favor of tracking down Jaws and dragging him in here, say aye. This is fun. Chris Johnson is on TSN now. All right, so let me go grab Jaws. Okay, well, turns out Jaws is still having his food. I can't physically shove the foods down his gullet for him, so I'll let him finish eating, and then I'm sure he'll come in. Hello, Jack the Leafs kid. Marner to Vegas. Oh, Nicholas Roy, one of the pieces going from Vegas. Is that true? Let's see. Well, I'll keep my eyes peeled here. Yeah, Marner to Vegas. Owls, the Marner's going to Vegas. Marner is going to Vegas. It was a sign and trade. Marner signed an 8-year, $12 million contract and now is being traded to Vegas. That's according to Chris Johnson on TSN. Yeah, the Red Wings said to the Wild, here, take Tarasenko. Just take him. Please. Just chucking around says, tell Josh Samo to bust it. Oh, I don't think so. So, yeah. So that's the bombshell. Oh, shit, here we go. Hearing Brad Marchand is closing in on a 6-year extension in Florida. Just under $32 million is the total. Doing math, 6 times 32. That's a little over $5 million per year. Dad, 6 years for Marchand. Jaws. So 32 must do math. 32 divided by 6, and it's just under 32. 32 divided by 6. Stay in school, kids. That's 5 1/3. So that's got to be what? 5.125 million. Leafs News and Trends says, bullshit. Why would he take $6 million in Florida when we offer him 9? Adonis says, huh? Yeah, Marshand is staying. Apparently. Holy shit. Panthers are paying a shitload of money. We don't have that much cap space. This certainly means that either Rodriguez or Boquist or both are gone. We'd be over the cap, so Erod and or Boquist are now they gotta go. We've got $4.9 million in cap, and Marchand just signed a 6-year deal worth just a mite over $5 million. So getting rid of Boquist would put us back in the green, but then we'd have no money for anything else. So I have to assume I think both Erod and Boquist are going. Yeah, this is huge. Yeah, the dude loves his blizzards. Panthers says, no way. Holy shit, the Panthers did it. They paid an arm and a leg. But, it's not confirmed yet. Hungry Xenomorph says, not confirmed yet. Let's hold off until the news. So, yeah, well, that is important. Here, this is Friedman saying Marchand is closing in on the extension. It doesn't mean it happens just yet, but so we're still waiting. We're still waiting to hear what the return is for Marner in the Vegas deal. Yeah, there's going to be some weird zombie land years in Florida, but they're going for the dynasty, says Pete Blackbird on Twitter. Ekblad. So Marchand is. So Bill Zito apparently has gone 3 for 3. Hey, Andrew, thank you for the 5. Thank you, Andrew. Says, put the banner report on Marchand's deal. That is a good. So I'll put up the Ekblad news. I'll put up a banner. Bread. Here we go. Adonis says, holy freaking Roni, this is cray-cray. Marchand, well, it's closing in on the deal. And Anthony says, Kyle like Brad, but I think this contract is a mistake. Paying a guy 6 years at $6 million a year. It's not $6 million. It's 5.125. Yeah, Dangle's gonna have an epic meltdown. Hello, Austin. Yeah. Hello, Austin. Yeah, the Thunder won. Congratulations. So we're still waiting to find out what the Golden Knights are sending to get Marner. Yeah, Marner to Vegas. SoFlo says, Marcy! Bill Zito appears to have done it. Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand. Marshy.
Did you see?
Yeah, Marchand is closing.
Like it's 6x6.
No, I did math. It's closer to 6 times 5.125 million.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
5.
Which means most certainly either or possibly both Erod and Boquist are gone. We have to get cap compliance.
Yeah, you got to move Rodriguez.
Nerfel says Steven Lorentz signs with the Leafs 3 times 1.35 million. So he gets a few more years.
I'll be back in a little bit. You're doing good. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, TSN reporting Marchand close to deal with Florida. Leafs News says, I am pissed off because Tavares and Nyes took discounts to get Marchand here. RJ Hollinger says, F. SoFlo says, cannot wait for the Canadian media to lose their shit about this in taxes. Kuzmenko 1-year extension for $4.3 million with the Canes. Ivan Provorov will be re-signing in Columbus. Pending trades call being completed. It's apparently, as was previously reported and speculated, assuming it goes through, according to Bob McKenzie, it will be Nick Roy to Toronto and signed Mitch Marner to Vegas. The trade is, quote, he believes 1-for-1. 1-for-1. Yeah, Provorov staying in Columbus. So yeah, the Leafs fans must be absolutely losing their minds. RC says 6 years. Holy crap. So yeah, it is confirmed. Ekblad, 8 years, 6.1 million, and we are potentially looking at Brad Marchand. Oh, TSN apparently has reported that the Marchand's deal is done. Let's see. Brad Marchand is staying in. Well, that's fair going off of Pierre LeBrun. Pierre LeBrun. So it looking like Marchand is staying in Florida. Holy shit. RJ says, best GM ever. Yeah, Panthers are now over cap and still have to sign a few players, which means either, most likely, Erod and Boquist are both gone. NHL Network has confirmed. Hungry Xenomorph says, can't be just Roy for Marner, right? That seems like a pretty bad return for the Leafs. JC says Schmitz is probably gone. Is Mackey re-signing with the Panthers? Probably. I would assume that they are going to try and get him his maybe a bridge deal. So there are rumors that Tkachuk is going on LTIR. So if Tkachuk goes on LTIR, what exactly would be the implications here? That the Panthers would be able to Hungry Xenomorph says Zito is teabagging every other GM in the league in real time. Gotta love it. Let's see. Eisenite says, screw that salary cap. Yeah, Kuzmenko is staying in LA 1 times 4.3. Hey, Henderson, thank you for the 5. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, Henderson. Says, dear Leafs fans, this is hint number 371 that maybe you're not as sexy as you think you are. It's not about taxes either. It's about winning. At the moment, Puckpedia has Chucky on LTIR until September. Marchand is 6 times 5.3. Is it? That seems. Let's see. Columbus and Provorov are finalizing a 7-year contract at $8.5 million AAV per season. So it's so here's the phenom. We just signed a 37-year-old to a 6-year deal. I wonder if he'll actually play for the Panthers throughout that entire contract. The deal is 1-for-1 per Bob McKenzie. Marner will head to Vegas for Nick Roy. Am I pronouncing that right? Is it Nick Roy or Nick Law? Oh, Drew Livingstone is going to eat so much crow. He thought that Marchand was not staying. Sports Short says, why would we do 6 years, though? Probably to convince Marchand to take just over 5. Spaceman Sports says, I feel like I'm at the movie theater watching Minecraft during the chicken jockey scene. Yeah, it puts them over the cap, so Erod and or Boquist are most certainly gone. The Marner traded for Nick Roy. The Leafs lost a top-line wiener for his third-line wiener. What? Hungry Xenomorph says, I can hear Dangle screeching from here. The hockey guy just uploaded a video on our deals. Just chucking around says, there are only 6 of us fans, so it's easy to keep us all happy. Andrew says they're going to put Chucky on LTIR and keep everybody.
That's not like
yeah,
the craziest thing. The league would absolutely have a pandemonium meltdown if they did that.
Yeah.
If they did that.
Yeah. Oh my God, right?
I mean, they weren't sure if Chuck was going to get surgery or not. Let's put it this way. They could put him on LTIR and not have to move anybody until he came back.
What was that? Go ahead.
They could put him on LTIR and not have to move anybody until he would be ready to come back.
Yeah.
And at that point, if somebody else was on LTIR, you still wouldn't have to move anybody. You follow what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, I'm distracted.
If they put Tkachuk on LTIR, even if it's not for the full season, they still wouldn't have to move anity.
I see.
Until he was going to come back.
Oh, I see.
And when he's ready to come back, if you were if somebody else was on LTIR, somebody else got injured or something, you you still might not have to move anybody.
Yeah.
Now, is it likely we do it that way? Probably not. But technically, it's possible.
So Provorov is getting 7 by 8.5 in Columbus.
Wow.
So Brad Marchand is a Florida Panther.
So we're over the cap now, right? And they also said they're close with no sick.
Yeah, so it's 6 years, 31.8 million
Okay.
for Marchand.
Okay.
So now I can finally actually calculate 31 point. So give me a second. That's 5.3 million.
Okay.
It's 5.3 million per year for Marchand.
Now we're 400,000 over the cap. But again, if they put Chunky on LTIR, if they say Chunky's going to need surgery and he's on LTIR, they don't have to make any moves right now. They can you know what I mean? They don't have to make a move.
So yeah, we now have Marchand signed until he's 43.
Well, yeah, obviously, a few of those years are going to be,
Yeah.
whether it's a buyout or whatever. But at least half that contract, he's still going to be good.
Yeah. The Leafs are letting Pontus Holmberg walk. No offer. RC says the Marchand and Ekblad deals look amazing in 3 years when the cap explodes. We just set ourselves up great contract extensions for those coming in 29-30.
Yeah, the cap is going to be so high. We got everybody else signed up. If that's the thing,
Yeah.
it's like we'd have, with everybody already signed, we've got money down the road where, especially if you're not paying Bob $10 million.
Yeah, that comes off the books after this year.
Right.
Pro Wagon says the TSN is reporting the Marchand deal is total $32 million, not that the AAV is 5.2. So I think it may be back end heavy.
Okay.
Hello, Dietrich.
All right, so we'll have to see what that's going to be.
Yeah, well, I am keeping my eyes peeled. So let's see. Bruins are closing in on Bobby Holick. Let's see. Bolts Fanatic says, I am done. Quote tweeting Elliot Friedman.
They kept all three.
They kept all three. It didn't come cheap. We did it.
We did it.
Also, the Marner trade is supposedly 1-for-1. For Marner, Vegas gives the Leafs Nick Waugh. You should see the look on Jaws' face right now. Come here. Don't. This big if true, right?
So, that's it? What about the cap? What about the cap? They've got Current cap space is $2.1 million. Is that with? That's without. And who are they sending? Was what makes. He makes $3 million. So somebody else has got to go to fit Marner's 12. That's wild. Oh, there's Cole Schwint. Yeah, Vegas probably said take it or leave it. Yeah. That's wild. So they still got to clear out at least 8 or 9 million. So who's gonna? Oh wait. Oh, what about their LTIR situation?
So, Real Cinema says Leafs can't even blackmail right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, what is the deal? What is the reports about the Leafs trying to
Let me get my laptop and I'll sit next to you.
Yeah. Colin says, I just saw Biz's reaction to the Marchand extension, laughing my freaking ass off. Yeah, I think Nosek, we were in talks with Nosek. Neil, the contract is supposedly 5.2, 5.3. Let's see. 12 million cap hit to Vegas, 3 million to Leafs in the Marner thing.
Here, let me
okay.
Just get in there real quick.
Yeah, I just want to see if anything else has happened. All right.
Okay.
Let me go get some water.
Okay. Oh, I would have gotten it. All right, Kyle, I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Hey, come on, laptop. This is wild. So, all right, let me get all this loaded up here. So yeah, 32 million is the total. That's crazy.
Okay,
and of course, True Livingston saying Bill Zito signed a horrible contract. Okay, yeah, be careful.
Amanda says, like the stream, think it helps
you,
the channel
Amanda.
grow. Yeah, the Panthers have their entire core signed through 2030.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could compete for a Stanley Cup every year for the foreseeable future. Jaws now has 8 more years of Ekblad content.
I know, right? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, Marchand's contract might be deferred money.
Yeah, we don't know just yet.
Cuban asks, Jaws, are you happy?
I'm thrilled. I hate to see Rodriguez go, but this is just a no-brainer. This is just a no-brainer.
Oh, Biz, this is what he posted. Oh, Biz. So, Evan Rodriguez is set to receive a $2.225 million signing bonus.
Let's say this again.
This is
right.
Evan Rodriguez is set to receive a $2.225 million signing bonus on July 1st. Expected teams will be much more open to trading for him after that is paid out. as Florida looks to massage their cap situation after this onslaught of extensions. Oh, yeah. By the way, Samoskevich is not eligible for offer sheets.
Yeah, he can't get an offer sheet. Yeah, no, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, deferred money will be banned next year in the new CBA.
But it's not banned yet.
The Oilers are possibly being investigated in regards to Evander Kane injury. Has Jaws signed the 8 by 10,000 subs contract yet? Let's see. So yeah, I guess the news has sort of died down. Not much else is happening. I think everyone is still in shock over the what has been going on. Yeah, what a great day to be a Panthers fan. The reactions are great. How is this possible?
I know.
The Sabres have extended qualifying offers to Tyson Kosek and Ryan McLeod, Bowen Byram, Ryan Johnson, and Connor Timmins, and Devon Levi. This makes Bernard Docker an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, Biz.
Yeah. I wonder if you... Pro Ragan says, tell Jaws I am so happy I was wrong.
Yeah, he was saying for sure Marchand is going to leave.
Hey, Eisenite.
Hey, thank you,
Thank you for the 5. Thank you.
Eyes.
Says,
appreciate it, buddy.
The only question now is how do we get Jaws and Kyle down to bang the drum for the next Cup Finals? Nothing on Nosek yet.
No, but they did say they were close, though.
Yeah.
They're going to put Chucky on LTIR.
Yeah, Nosek close to signing extension, but nothing official yet. So I wonder if you heard that the Steelers gave Jalen Ramsey a pay raise, about $1.5 million. They're going to be paying him like $26.6 million. And they gave Jonnu Smith a 1-year, $12 million contract.
They gave Jonnu 12. Wow.
Yeah, so
That's wild.
I don't think the Dolphins were going to be paying $12 million to Jonnu Smith and Marshand. And Ramsey. He's 30 and probably being paid too much for what he's actually offering.
Now, Puckpedia has Kachuk on the LTIR, but the LTIR pool is 0. So I don't know why that is.
Let's see. Eisenite says, I want to announce Pasta the Florida on Twitter just to mess with people now.
Don't forget, we got to sign Tarasov and Samoskevich too. So I wonder if we're going to package Rodriguez and Boquist. If we're going to sign Nosek, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luostarinen, Marshand, Nosek, Greer, and Gadjevich. If you have to move Rodriguez and Boquist to sign Samoskevich, Tarasov, and you get a 7th D-man that can play forward in case one guy gets injured. That's basically how you could do it. I don't see any other way to do it unless Marchand's average is way low because there's some kind of bonus in there or something.
The Panthers have these players locked up through at least 2030. Barkov, Kachuk, Reinhardt, Bennett, Verhaeghe, Lundell, Marchand, Jones, Ekblad, Forsling.
Jeez. Wait until the Luostarinen extension.
Duh.
Right?
So.
Now, in that LTIR thing with Kachuk, it says he's month to month. His estimated return is September 15th. But it's not taking his money out of the. Does anybody know how that works? I mean, if you put Kachuk on LTIR now, which they do have him on, wouldn't we get cap relief immediately with that?
Balinskis can play forwards or defenseman according to Praga.
Right, but we'd still need a 7th defenseman. If you're going to move, you would still have to. Maybe you'd have to be bringing up Benning on those games.
Anthony asks, Jaws, what exactly can the NHL investigate the Panthers for violating the CBA? Like some of these hockey channels are saying, are they just being ridiculous because
they're just being ridiculous? There's nothing. What's there to? It's just sour grapes.
Yeah, this is historical.
This is everybody just taking a little bit less.
Yeah.
This is just everybody buying in, taking a little bit less. The whole cap was put into play in all the sports under the assumption that players are always going to go where there's more money. If you ever got a situation like this where the players said, hey, instead of going and taking more money, why don't we just stay together and win? That breaks the cap. They just counted on players being greedy and putting money first instead of winning.
Bob says there's no LTIR in the offseason, but you can be over the cap by 10%.
Like 10%. Okay. Okay, so then we don't have to do anything.
Dakota says, Sens fans here, I hate the Panthers, respectfully. Congrats to you guys, though.
So we don't have to do anything, at least until we know about Kachuk's surgery or non-surgery. We absolutely don't have to do it.
So I am just checking between the different hockey news guys on Twitter. So looks like the last piece of news for today so far has been the Provorov deal.
Right.
Yeah, Rodriguez has that bonus that pays $2.2 million. He won't be traded until after that. The Sens signed Giroux, yeah. Yeah, the new CBA doesn't take into effect until the season after this one.
Right. Yeah, so we may not see Rodriguez moved, because if they find out Tkachuk is going to take surgery, he's going to be out when let's even go back further. After the series, Maurice was talking about Tkachuk, and he said that by the time he got to game 4, 5, 6 of the finals, he said if he tore it off the bone again, go have the surgery, come back in January. So what that tells me is that if Tkachuk waits even another couple of weeks and has surgery, if he does have the surgery, he may not even be back until February. So you may see a situation where we keep Rodriguez to fill in for Tkachuk until he would come back, and then roll the dice, because if somebody else ends up on LTIR while Chucky is out, and then bringing back Rodriguez still doesn't put us back over the cap, then we never needed to move him. It's tricky, because you would be in a position where when Tkachuk comes back, if nobody else is on LTIR, you'd have to move Rodriguez at that point. You wouldn't have any choice. And it would kind of suck from a player perspective of using the guy to fill in for Tkachuk and then trading him. But you could ask Erod, what do you want to do? You could ask Erod, say, hey, would you rather us trade you now, or do you want to take this chance on staying with us 2/3 of the season, and then we still might have to trade you when Tkachuk comes back? It's you just never know. He may give Erod that option. Or we could wake up tomorrow morning and he could be traded. You know what I mean? But it's, especially now that I hear they're working on Nosek, honestly, where the hell are you going to put Rodriguez if they sign Nosek? Unless you're going to bench Samoskevich. So it's wild. It's wild. What a problem to have. What a crazy problem to have.
Yeah. So, yeah, nothing has happened with Nosek, Erod, or Boquist. So, yeah, this is crazy. And Bex, I know Bex was saying hello. Yeah, the crazy bastards did it. Most teams would never have been able to keep the three of them, says Burned Oils.
What's that?
Burned Oil says most teams would never have been able to keep the three of them.
Right.
Yeah, Bouchard, 4 years, $10.5 million.
I know,
AAV.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it shows how special the Panthers organization is. Abundance of riches for us, yeah. Montreal has negative $3.4 million cap space. Oh, Tkachuk just tweeted?
Yeah.
Let's see what he tweeted. Let's see. He says, oh, it's a picture with him and Marchand enjoying a couple of margaritas in the pool.
That's wild, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, all three. We kept all three.
Ain't that wild?
The Raiders apparently have no interest in trading Michael Mayer, so the Dolphins are going to have to look elsewhere for a new tight end.
Yeah. So that might be it.
You think so? You don't think anything else is about to happen?
Well, like they're saying, Rodriguez is through that signing bonus. So he's not, if even if we're immediately moving him, he's not getting moved till tomorrow. It could happen at 12:01. You know what I mean? But do we know the Marchand AVV yet?
Well, the deal is supposed to be just under 32 million.
Right, but we don't know. But that's the value of the deal. We don't know if that's got deferred money. We don't know if that's got bonuses. We don't know how that's laid out. But assuming it's going to be 5.
Yeah.
Even if it makes it 4.9, which could be interesting. Maybe Zito made it exactly, even because we had 4.9 left. If you trade Rodriguez, you got 3 left. $1 million for Tarasov, $1 million for Samoskevich, $1 million for Nosek.
Well, we might end up with Noquist.
Noquist. You'd still have to do Rod. Yeah, you might have to do both of them.
So,
boy, I wish we wouldn't have traded Sordif now. No, seriously. Like, that was, I don't understand. Well, maybe we're not going to move Rodriguez. If we move Rodriguez and Boquist, I don't understand why we traded Sordif. You know what I mean? But when we traded Sordif, I thought for sure that meant Marchand was staying. But depth-wise, we could be.
So here's some big signings so far today. Provorov, 7 years at $8.5 million. Marchand, 6 years at $5.33 million. Marner, 8 years at $12 million. Bouchard, 4 years at $10.5 million. Kuzmenko, 1 year at $4.3 million. He's staying with the Kings.
Right.
Ekblad, 8 years at $6.1 million. Romanov, 8 years at $6.25 million. Geeky, 6 years, $5.5 million.
Okay.
Haig, 5 years, $5.5 million.
I can't believe that Bouchard one, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe the Bouchard one.
That core, the Oilers' new core 4 is being paid $400K less combined than the Leafs core 4 was.
Yeah.
Hungry Xenomorph says getting a second for Sardif was highway robbery. That's why Zito did it.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That part I agree with. No disagreement there.
Kazuma says the NHL needs to do something about the unfair competitive advantages that teams like the Panthers and Golden Knights have, being well-run teams that players want to play for.
Yeah, maybe we can change the weather, right?
All right, so yeah, I guess not much else is going on, but holy shit,
The Devils qualified Luke Hughes and Cody Glass.
The Maple Leafs did not qualify Pontus Holberg, Reese Johnson, Cedric Pear, or Mikko Kokkin.
Oh, this is the better picture. Look, it's Kachuk, and then look who's in the background. That's Eklad.
It's Eklad.
Cody says these trolls probably knew the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are enjoying their daiquiris.
That is a great picture. Yeah. Eklad over there with the dad bod.
Jordan Harris did not get a qualifying offer from Columbus. Hey, John, thank you for the 5.
Hey, thank you, John. Thank you, buddy. Thank
John
you, bud. Much
says,
appreciated.
I am asking the U.S. Mints to change the phrase on money. In Zito, we trust.
Yeah.
Sports Shorts changed his profile pic to Zito because he's the GOAT. Yeah. Short and Sweet has an interesting take. He thinks Ekblad and Bennett overpaid, but Marchand for 5 was a steal even at his age. Cade says, celebrate good times. Come on.
This is beautiful.
Panthers signed through 2029-30. Bennett, Ekblad for Hagee, Reinhardt, Forsling, Marchand, Barkov, Kachuk, Lundell, and Jones.
Where's my Luosterainen extension?
It's a good question.
Luosterainen, let's give Luosterainen 6 years at 5 1/4. That seems legit. Why not? Let's just lock up. You know what, though? Let's give Zito some credit where we haven't really talked about it. You know what's really making this a lot easier right now is the fact that we already had Greer and Gadjevich signed for next season. That doesn't, it didn't, it don't make a splash, but not having to worry about that fourth line other than Nosek, that's made a difference here. Instead of having to worry about those guys going and getting paid somewhere else and us having to find new guys, to just be able to bring those guys back is just spectacular.
T. Wobble says, I want Schmidt to stay too.
That would be it, right? If we sign Schmidt and Nosek and Samoskevich, it's the same team, right? It's the same team.
It's a beautiful day in Ratsburg.
Has anybody ever brought back the same exact team? I know we have a new backup goalie. Has anybody ever done that? Brought back the same exact team?
Reddit is saying Ekblad was going to get $9 million plus in free agency.
Oh, sure. I mean, Bouchard just got 10.
Yeah, 10.5. Eisenite.
Thank you, Ice.
Thank you, Ice. He has been a member for 32 months.
Man, I was going to go fishing this afternoon for the members podcast, but here we are.
Says, fun facts, the Oilers interviewed Bill Zito for GM in 2019 and hired Ken Holland instead.
No.
Zito now has won 2 cups for the Panthers.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Oilers.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the 3-peat can legitimately happen. $20 million tied up in Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard. What are you doing, Oilers?
I can't believe they did. I mean, Bouchard's a nice player, but damn. Damn. I will say it got annoying with how many times Bouchard would save the puck at the blue line. I will definitely admit that.
Yeah, Nosek about to get a 4-year deal for league minimum AAV.
Basically. I mean, they what's that one? Oh, what was
what?
The one with Zito's picture. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine.
Yeah. So Raphael Harvey-Pinard was not tendered a qualifying offer by the Canadiens and is now a UFA. There's still a chance he could re-sign with the Habs or possibly return on the deal with the Laval Rockets. He's a prospect.
All right, so the Habs did qualify Dobish, of course.
They qualified Dobish.
Yeah.
Waz says, I think the Florida Panthers should definitely sign Corey Berry. It might be the only way to stop them.
Yeah.
Did the 80s Islanders bring everyone back when they three-peated? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Is Balinskis still on contract?
Yeah, Balinskis is still signed. Yep.
So, interesting tweet from the Williston Realander on Twitter. On the Fan Morning Show, Frank Saravalli says some in the Leafs organization believe Vegas' tampering of Mitch Marner has gone back almost a year when the player/camp was no longer willing to negotiate with the team.
Right.
And also, this does not age well. Saravalli says it's going to be really difficult for a team to match the Leafs' rumored 4 times $9 million deal for Marchand. Adds that's too high, but there's still a very large possibility he doesn't leave Florida. Well, guess what? God, yeah, either Marchand or Ekblad could have easily gotten $9 million. Hey, Amanda, thank you for the 5.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you,
Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda.
Says Ryan Reed said Panthers won't repeat. What does that mean, Jaws? Our good luck charm.
I mean, that pretty much means just buy the shirts now. Buy the 2027 or 2026 shirts and the 27 shirts. Just buy them now.
Adonis says, yo, guys, we're so grateful to be in this spot. Love you guys.
Yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. All 3.
So the top remaining UFAs are now Besser, Gavrikov, Ehlers, Suter, and Grenlands. Yeah. So there's still some potentially interesting news that we could get. So... yeah.
This is wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think when people are getting trolled by all the what was it? It was Bennett to Boston. It was Marchand to the Leafs. Was a done deal. A couple of days ago, people were telling me, "Oh, Biz retweeted it and confirmed it. It's Marchand to the Leafs for $9 million." Never believe anything this time of year until Elliott or Pierre says it. For the most part,
Yeah.
there's a couple other guys.
Holy shit.
What?
Hey, Paul, thank you for the 100.
Holy crap. Thank you, brother.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you, Paul.
100.
Thank you, buddy.
Paul.
Thank you,
Says,
brother.
Let's freaking
Right.
go. Zito is a genius. If Chucky needs surgery and is out until the playoffs, there will be another $9.5 million.
If that's the way it works out. I mean, that could be what Zito is thinking all along. You know what I mean? It could just be what he's thinking all along.
Kazuma says, Jaws, you should do a video breaking down who are the favorites to go to the finals again. Could we get a Vegas Panthers final? Well, there's only one problem.
Well, we got to see what Vegas gets rid of. You know what I mean? I mean, they're 8-9 million over the cap with
Steve Dangle in shambles right now.
Yeah.
Mrs. Jaws says hello.
Hey, babe. She's watching. Yeah.
Kenneth says Florida hockey now seems to think Florida can't sign Nate Schmidt.
Yeah, I mean, he may want more than this million. That's what we got. You know what I mean?
Who's ready for the Jake Allen sweepstakes tomorrow? The Golden Knights have extended qualifying offers to the following 5 players: Lucas Cormier, Alexander Holtz, Raphael Lavoie, Jonas Ronberg, and Cole Schwitt. So yeah. Steve Dangle had said, I hope Bill Zito's pillow is always hot.
Man, he's got to be a happy dude to get that money and
Hey, Adonis, thank you for the 10.
Hey, Adonis, thank you, buddy. Thank you, bud.
Says, I'm getting Dairy Queen for y'all on the house, but I seriously love y'all. One of the best communities on YouTube. Also, I must start a fundraiser for construction on the Bill Zito statue.
Yeah.
Who's funding it with me?
Yeah, the Bill Zito stat. Man, we need that. Solid bronze.
I think Trey's trying to troll, saying Mackey traded to Detroit.
No. Nice try.
Hey,
nice try.
Hey, Doreen, thank you for the 10.
Hey, Doreen, thank you.
Says,
thank you, Doreen.
So excited to get these guys.
Yep, it's a beautiful thing.
Case Wojo says, run it back, baby. I knew it.
Yeah, so Geeky 6 5x5. So then what does Toronto do now? What's their space look like?
So,
in fact, since you're doing this, I'm gonna go do a video. Okay.
Okay.
So I have that recorded.
Well, I do need to use the restroom soon.
All right, well, yeah, go ahead. You do that, and then come back.
Okay.
And then I'll do a video while we're still here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back in just a minute.
Okay. Okay, you got the old man now. The old man with glasses is back. Kachukin says McDavid in Toronto's the only move left. Yeah, what's their cap space now? I'm not sure when the schedule comes out. Let's see here. let's see what. So they have about $11 million. Wait, why does their current cap space say minus $3 million? Oh, because they've got Marner on there. So that's not right. So, come on, Puckpedia. What about Sports Track? Does Sports Track have it right? Come on, you shouldn't have Marner's contract on there. The trade is official, right? All right, so Sports Track's not even working. So they must have $9 million in cap space because it says minus 3 with Marner's 12. So obviously you subtract that, and they've got $9 million in space. So what are they going to do? Who can they go get? Who can they go get to fill that spot? I know you're lying, Trey. I know you're lying, Trey. Trey trying to still say Samoskevich is getting moved to Detroit for 2 2s. Jeff on Twitter. This was on June 25th. Zito, Marchand, Bennett, and Eklad are all sitting in a bar somewhere leaking fake shit and watching the hockey world freak out.
Zito did it. We kept all 3 of them.
All 3. All right. He's now part of the Iser plan. No, I mean, Magna's depth. I think he's 32, 33 years old. He's not a top 6 guy. He's somebody that, you can bring in. You need somebody to fill in for a couple of nights here or there. He can do that. But all right, Kyle, go ahead, do your thing. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, so
I just want to get the video recorded. It won't be long.
All right.
That way it's recorded so that when we're done here, I can just edit it and pop it out.
Okay. Trey just wants revenge for Knight getting traded. All right, so yeah, Forsling and Ekblad forever. How do I feel about the Panthers today? Pretty good. Pretty good. Is Nosek coming back? That is to be determined. Would Witherspoon be a good depth option? I unfortunately would not know off the top of my head who Witherspoon is. Hungry Xenomorph says, we need an updated list of the free agents for tomorrow. What big names are still out there? The SN overdrive is so freaking is so hurt right now. The state tax. There's going to be so many salty Leafs fans. So an 8-team no trade clause for Nick Hague is in the back 2 years of his new contract with the Preds. Kate says, "Good night, y'all. I'm off to celebrate this joyous day. See you next time." Joey Vernon says, "I'll drop to my knees and cry in a Walmart's parking lot if we lose Samoskevich. I highly doubt we'll lose Samo." David says, "Have a great night, Kyle and all. Woohoo." Yeah, knowing Zito, we could get McDavid next year. So, yeah, it's good to see Ekblad and Marchand are staying. So I'll be here I'll be live here for a little bit longer since Jaws is currently recording the video, and then he'll come back up here, and I'm sure we might wrap it up once he gets back. Yeah, Nicholas was traded to the Maple Leafs. He's part of the deal that sent Marner to Vegas. Hungry says, "Lol, Boston is shopping Corpus Salo. Who would trade for Corpus Salo?" Does Jaws post the video as soon as he's finished with it, or does it take some time with editing? Well, yeah, he usually has to at least do some quick editing. Are Panthers fans pissed off we kept Bouchard? I can't exactly say that the Panthers fans are angry about the Bouchard contract. You're paying the dude $10.5 million a year. Congrats on Jim Neal winning GM of the Year in 2025-26. Adonis says the Bouchard extension is fine and needed to happen since there's no one replacement as good as him. Just so much money spent compared to the Panthers. Bruins fans are saying the Marchand deal will end up on early LTIR retirement. It is cap circumventing. That sounds like salt. Zito on the Marchand contract. We started at 3 years and went to 4 and went to 5, and he said, "What about 6? I want to be a Panther." That's according to Las Olas. It might be just a funny joke. Yeah. Yes, it is true. Marshand is staying, and so is Ekblad. GP20 says Colorado had a chance last year, but they blew it versus Dallas. Vegas Reddit is reporting that Marner turned down $13.5 million to stay in Toronto. Is Tarasov signed? Not yet. We still need to sign Tarasov. There's a couple of other guys. Let's see. So it doesn't look like that there's much more news to be had. Mythical says, I guess with Eggplant and Marshy signed, we have to trade Erod for cap space. That's not entirely accurate. In any under certain circumstances, I believe a team is allowed to be 10% over the cap. 10% over the cap during the off season. Now, here's the thing. Rodriguez is about to be given a signing bonus. So he probably will not be traded until after that bonus is paid by the Panthers. Sports Shorts says, good night, Kyle. See you next time, Sports Shorts. Could Florida avenge 1996 30 years later? The league needs to inject about 20 plus talented players into the Metro Division. Yeah. Evan Rodriguez's salary next season is a league minimum $775K after his signing bonus gets paid tomorrow. Yeah, the Panthers should definitely be favored to win the Stanley Cup next year. At the moment, the Panthers find themselves in the same situation. It's rather a similar situation to the early 2010s Kings, where we have won a couple of cups, and now we have decided to extend everyone. Don't forget about St. Louis. The West will have Blues, Stars, Avalanche, and Kings. The East is just Florida and Leafs again. Maybe Devils make some noise this year if healthy. Will the Jets take a downfall after the President's Trophy? Well, if Hellebuyck plays like he normally does in the regular season, the Jets should still be in the conversation in the West. I don't know if they're going to win the President's Trophy again. We submitted a qualifying offer to Sam Iskevich.
Good.
Before the deadline. Yeah.
Okay, good. Where the hell's my water? I don't know. Do you need anything? Because I got to get myself some Tylenol. I'll be right back.
Just give me some more water.
Okay.
And if
half the video is going to need subtitles by the time I release it, right?
Yeah. Are you almost done? John says Erod is probably saying, do the surgery, Chucky, please. I don't want to leave. Trey says, I just walked into KFC and they're playing Pink Pony Club. So the fact that we can sit here today and watch as the Panthers re-sign all the guys in their core after winning back-to-back cups and easily being able to get ready to win a third, it's crazy. Kazuma says, the Olympics worries me. Hope our guys come back fine.
They didn't say what the qualifying offer was?
No.
You put, did I do this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me go ahead and sneak back in there then.
Okay, what do you think? How much longer we want to go?
Well, I mean, as long as stuff keeps happening, we'll stick around.
Well, the actual stuff happening has been extremely quiet.
All right, well, we'll give it a little bit more time here. We got what's that? Almost 400 people here, right? Yeah, so we'll be live tomorrow at 4 a.m., right? No, not 4 a.m., Kyle?
Basically all our free agents are signed.
I know this is wild. It's like there's not going to be anything for them to do tomorrow. It's crazy.
No word on Nosek yet. The Panthers are putting the Dolphins to shame. Ricky says, I'm a diehard Dolphins fan. That's the last thing I need to see us win the championship. I don't know if it's going to happen. Well, I'm being optimistic about the whole Minka and Jonnu and Jalen trade. I want to see what the Dolphins do to rectify corner tight end, and there's always offensive line depth that we need. Kazuma says, I think that Jaws gets to 100,000 subscribers before the Dolphins win a championship.
That's probably very likely. Probably very likely.
So yeah. We are almost at 9.5K.
We're getting there.
Adonis says, I think we just have to sign low-cost players on the market now that we are over the cap. Yeah. Well, I believe someone had mentioned that you are allowed to be 10% over the cap during the off season.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything with Rodriguez right now. That's the biggest thing.
Well, that's the signing. It has to wait until the signing bonus.
Yeah, but either what I'm saying is we don't have to do it. We don't have to do it right now.
Will they call anyone up from the checkers?
Well, my answer to that would have been sort of. Let me see something. I mean, I bet you Trey is going to say Jack Devine. I mean, you still got to pay him $900,000. I might not quite be ready. 5'11", $1.73. He might need to eat a cheeseburger. He did have a good season at Denver last year, but he might need some seasoning there. I'm looking at the Charlotte Checkers roster now. I would have said sort if normally. I don't know if Sachin's ready. If you're looking at forwards, still got Kai Schwint sitting around. Romanis, I know some people liked him. But, I mean, these are all guys that would only come up for a game here, game there, if we need it because of injury. We still have Mackenzie Entwistle. He's played a couple games for us before.
John asks,
yeah,
how does Jaws compare this offseason from the last? Well, it ain't over yet, so we'll have to wait.
Well, what I said earlier, I'll reiterate, is that I'm liking the fact that Zito already had Greer, Gadjevich, and Belinskas signed. So that makes things a lot less chaotic because we legitimately could go into tomorrow with the only hole being 6 or 7D. And depending on what we're going to do with Rodriguez and Boquist, we may not even need to do anything. I mean, there's really not much left to do at this point. Samoskevich will sign whatever that deal is going to be, I would assume. And then if you re-sign Nosek, I mean, the 12 are set. You still have Boquist. He's not even in the 12. And that's not including Rodriguez. Can Rodriguez play defense? Can we put Erod at 6D? Or can we run 13? Can we run 13-5? Can we run 13-5 every game? Yeah, just run 13-5. Kill poor Kulikov for 25 minutes a night. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, the Panthers have confirmed Samoskevich got a qualifying offer.
Yeah, we just don't know what the number is.
Adonis says, now here's my checklist for the offseason. Get Samo and Tarasov deals, fill roster spots with bodies or guys from the minor league. Figure out Bob's situation for when his contract expires.
Yeah. I agree there. Yeah, we need Bobrovsky extension.
Adonis says, what does qualifying offer mean 1 year? Eisenite asks, isn't the qualifying offer 10% more than his last deal?
I honestly don't know those rules. Let me look at that.
Bob is eligible to extend tomorrow.
Eligible, you mean? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a 1-year contract, right? Which makes sense for Samoskevich to take because um, Bob's contract being gone next year, you can give if Samo stays and gets 20 goals, 25 goals, then he's going to get paid next year for sure. So qualifying offers for 1 year, right? Yeah, it depends on the player's previous salary. That makes sense.
Our expected cap space in 2028-29 season is $46,525,000.
Right? Okay. Yeah, so qualifying offer is 1 year.
Adonis says, I just think Bob is well conditioned with his physical health and work ethic. Lou didn't have that when he was nearing retirement. Once he had all those conditions on his body, goaltending is fine. Lou was a great work ethic guy, but I just feel Bob has better athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, Luongo had that hip problem. And that he said he was spending like 2 hours stretching and getting ready just to be able to play each night.
Kyle, can you show the news clip of Biggs? How do you pronounce that? Biggs, CAEZ.
No, we're not going to show that. That's for his channel to show.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Dolphin fans melting down.
Well, I think the Dolphins fans need to calm down until we find out who we get for corner and tight ends.
Right, what's that?
That's John's Bella.
Hey, thank you, John. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, John. Appreciate that, bud.
Yes, is Kyle going to be bald when he gets older?
Might not be. Might not. He might not have got that.
Yeah. My dad and grandpa bald, completely bald. My mom's brothers, they all kept their hair. At worst, I think they thinned out a little.
Yeah.
So, let's see, it's 6:48. When are we all going to stop streaming? Asks Adonis. Perfect question, Adonis. Let's just say 7.
Let's just give it to 7 if nothing else happens, because I got to upload the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marchand's news broke while you were busy having your lunch.
I was eating. You were on. We were on. What's the difference? Right?
Craig says normally it's your mom's dad that you get your hair from. Normally.
Then you won't go completely wrong.
Yeah, that's Grandpa Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
a bunch of thin areas, but I don't think he was bald.
Yeah.
Will we be back during midnight if there's more Panthers news? Andrew Fisher asks, are we going to keep Nosek and now we need a 7th defenseman, or is Balinskis going to be that next to Kulikov?
It could be Balinskis, but it just depends on what we're going to do. I mean, Balinskis is on the team. We played most of the year with him at 60. It could be an area we go after the trade deadline. You know what I mean?
Trey with some dark humor saying, my mom's dad died when she was 9, so can't test it.
Oy.
Trey says, my dad is bald as shit, though. Way worse than me. I started losing mine around 27.
Yeah, I started losing mine about 29.
Here we someone being a smart ass and saying Vegas receives Mitch Marner, Cup Finals, Leafs receive first round exit again.
Oh, man.
Keep your eye out on Montreal. Interest in a player from the Blues. Oh, yeah. Has anyone mentioned to you that the Marlins are on the 7-game win streak?
Yeah, a few people have told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. They swept consecutive road series against, I believe, the Giants and Diamondbacks.
I'm just waiting for them to, start selling again.
John says, I lost my hair in my early 30s. Thanks, Dolphins.
So I always had thick, luxurious hair.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 29, I would go at the beginning every summer, go to the barber and get a crew cut. So I walked in, crew cut, yep. And I got home, and I was just brushing some of the hair off of my forehead or whatever. And I saw this quarter-sized bald spot right here. I was like, son of a bitch. And that was the beginning of the end.
Silva says a few things to note. Goodbye, Erod. Marchand, way too much term for the money he's getting. Not so sure about locking up that entire top 9 for 6+ years. We're going to need youth eventually.
Well, we still kind of have it with Lundell, Luosterainen, and Samoskevich. At some point, you might end up moving on from Verhaeghe if somebody else comes up. I think my attitude is when you're trying to when you're having the possibility of winning 3 cups in a row, might win 4 in 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
You just take the chance on that now.
Yeah.
And you worry about 5-6 years down the road later. we have a chance to do something that no team has ever done in the cap era. So I'm all in.
So Adonis says, "Oh, I thought about this for a while. What about Tristan Jarry gets traded to the Oils country and Dubas moves a bad contract? Then Joel Blomqvist would take over for Pittsburgh and the Oilers get a decent goalie."
I don't know if Jarry's any better than Skinner.
Hey, Watch Medicine, thank you for the 5.
Hey, thank you, Watch. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Watch. Much appreciated, bud.
First of all, guys, bucket list moment to watch Game 6 live at Amaranth Bank Arena. Now 3-peat time, baby. Yes. Probably a due to Erod. Thank you, Erod, for your service.
Let's see, Jarry's numbers last year.
Will we be streaming Dolphins games this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jarry's numbers last year were 3.12 and an 8.93. I mean, the year before was 2.91 and a 9.03, 2.90, 9.09, 2.42, 9.19. He was terrible this year, but his numbers weren't.
True says, so he signed Marshy.
Yes. How old is Jarry?
Adonis says, dude, Jarry is so much better. He led the league in shutouts last year on a team that missed the playoffs. He was not good.
You mean on the year before?
The year before.
Yeah, the year before, yeah.
He was not good this year, but inconsistency comes with goaltending. Unless you have Bob.
I think the way I'm looking at Jarry is, does Jarry over Skinner get McDavid to stay? To me, that's the way I look at it.
Las Olas on Twitter says, guys, July 1st is going to be boring AF for Panthers fans. Guess it's now like, does Chucky get surgery? Do we trade Erod or Boquist? Do our young guys look good in rookie camp? How much do Samo and Tarasov sign for?
Well, they gave Samoskevich a qualifying offer. So he didn't even get a bridge deal. They just qualified him, which I would assume he's going to take.
So, the last time a 43-year-old forward played in the NHL was Yager in 2015-16.
Yeah.
We all knew Term would get AAV down with 6 years. Let's see. The Canadiens have not extended qualifying offers to the following players: Raphael Harvey Pinard, Xavier Simoneau, Noel Hoffenmeyer. So yeah. Oh, the Avalanche have re-signed Sam Malinsky to a 1-year, $1.4 million deal. He's a third-pairing defenseman.
Yeah, people trying to say the 6 years to Marchand is cap circumvention. Sorry, but not sorry.
True says, did anyone doubt Billy Z?
Nope.
Ekblad, Jones, and Forsling combines cost over $1 million less than Bouchard and Nurse. Shows the difference in culture.
Jones, and Forsling combined over $1 million less than Bouchard.
Shows the difference in culture and GM.
My God. Is that accurate? That's accurate.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeez, that's accurate. Yeah, that's accurate.
Is there a chance we're losing anyone else until next year's trade deadline? Erods might be gone. Boquist might go. Adonis says Jack Devine is going to be a demon for us. Trey, my friend, went to a Denver game and said he's very good and physical. I also almost committed to U of Denver, so hopefully that means good luck for him.
Right. All right.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated,
Thank
bud.
you for
Go ahead
the
and read it.
2.
Thank you, buddy.
Says, does Toronto go after Vegas for contract tampering?
No, not that. Now that they got their trade, I think all that's null and void.
Well, the NHL could still do it themselves,
Right.
regardless of what any team says.
Yeah, but I doubt they would.
Jones forcing Ekblad $18.85 million. Bouchard and Nurse $20 million. Marshand and Ekblad will cost us less. Slightly more. It's 6. Actually,
no, that's less.
It's less.
It's less. He's right.
Marchand and Eklad cost us less than Marner will cost Vegas.
Wow. They're going to hate us. They're going to hate us even more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are streaming the Dolphins games this year.
What's that?
Hey, John, thank you for the 2.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Much appreciated, bud.
Says some players underperform once they get a raise.
That's true. I mean, it does happen. It does happen. So then that's it. So tomorrow, if they get Nosek done, Sam Miskevich has already got his qualifying offer. He's gonna be on the team. We could quite literally enter tomorrow with the only thing that we need to even think about is 6 or 7D. You got to sign Tarasov. And
that's it.
And what are we going to do with Boquist and Russ? We go into free agency tomorrow. The bigger question is, what are we going to do with all our extra players? That's literally how we enter free agency tomorrow. We got too many guys. We got to get rid of some.
Yeah.
And we just won 2 cups in a row, and we have too many guys. I mean. And the dude didn't win GM of the year.
Jim Nill can win GM of the year forever. Because it just drives Zito to prove who really is the best GM.
That is insane. I mean, we don't. I can't read.
Coots says you guys are going to stream each Dolphins game. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you guys. I don't think I'm strong enough to do that.
Yeah, well.
Let me know which is the better Circus Soleil or the
Yeah, we need. No, Julian, we gave Sam Miskevich a qualifying offer, which I believe is just a little bit of a percentage higher than his old deal. So it won't be much more than $1 million.
Ooh, this is fun. Dolphins at Steelers, Week 15, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. So, all right, everybody, we're gonna roll for now. If something else happens, we'll jump on again. If not, I think I'll start tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and then we'll just go tomorrow, and we'll go. Right, Kyle? He says right. All right, everybody. Thank you all for the love and support. Much, much love. Thank you for all the super chats. Y'all make this happen. If and when we trades Rodriguez and Boquist for McDavid, because Chucky's on LTIR, we'll go live again.
All right.
All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have fun.